Okay, checking transmission fluid. On this video, we're going to talk about checking the transmission fluid, which is separate from the motor. So the motor is this half of the powertrain. The tranny is this half, and it's buried underneath everything down here on the side. Sometimes the transmission on a transverse around the motor will be here. Other times on like Hondas, it will be on the opposite side. On rear-wheel drive cars, it's going to be behind the motor, which you'll see on the next part. So what most people have a struggle with is which dipstick is the tranny fluid. This motor and tranny is very simple. It labels it, engine oil and transmission fluid. Now this is really important. You must use Mercon 5 transmission fluid if the tranny is low. You gotta put in the fluid that it calls for. So somewhere in the dipstick it will always tell you, or usually. Okay, vehicle running. Vehicle must be hot. Some dipsticks will give you a cold and a hot reading, which I think this one is. But unlike the engine oil, with the transmission, the engine must be running. Vehicle is parked on a flat road, not an incline, not tilted. And so anyways, first dip, you just want to take it out. And the first thing you want to do is smell it. And what you're doing is you want to make sure it smells like a musty cherry smell. You don't want to smell anything burnt in the fluid. This is the one fluid you're always going to smell. Then the next step is to just take it and look at your fluid color. In this case, it's kind of nice little pinkish red, which is what you want. A little bit of black in here, that's normal if it's not consistent throughout the fluid. So I'm going to go ahead and wipe it off. So the first time you want to just check the condition of the oil. Second time is to check the level of the oil. So now keep your dipstick low, not up, and you have two dots with a hash mark. So the bottom dot's for cold, the top dot's for hot, and it should be in the hash mark, which it is. And if you can't get a good reading on one side, turn it over. And you can see that the glare of the fluid's right here, right where it should be. Again, you should always smell your fluid. You should always check your fluid color. Make sure that it's nice cherry red with like a cherry musty smell. Okay, this vehicle is good. Now I would take it for a test drive and make sure it shifts properly. Just go next one. Okay. So this is a rear-wheel drive vehicle, so the motor's facing this way. The transmission is behind the motor. So this is not the transmission dipstick, this is the engine oil. Transmission dipstick is over here near the back part of the motor. So again, I'm going to pull the transmission dipstick out, provided the vehicle's flat. Vehicle's running. I'm going to pull this out, and I'm just going to actually smell it. And this smells really clean. So the nose tells you if the person is taking care of their vehicle. No black at all on the fluid. Nice little cherry reddish color. So it has the right smell. It has the right color. Next step is to check the level. Put it in. Take it out. Keep the dipstick holding down. Now, this is confusing. The fluid is all the way up high right here, and you can see that there's hash marks right here and right here. So right now it looks like it's overfilled, but I'm going to turn it over and double check, and it looks like it's still overfilled. So it could be, it could not be. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to take 3 or 4 samples and average them. I'm going to put it in, pull it out, and check both sides. Again, right here and right here. I'll do one more. It's right here and right here. This transmission's overfilled. That is one thing you should never do with a tranny fluid, because if you overfill a transmission, the fluid will actually start to foam up and it will cause shift concerns from too much fluid being inside. So I'd want to take out at least a quart of fluid on here. But you could see right here that it should be between these two marks right here. Instead, the mark of the fluid was all the way up here. That's not good for the transmission. We should at least take out a pint to a quart of fluid to bring it down in here. All right, third vehicle. Okay, transverse mounted motor, front wheel drive vehicle. Here's the motor right here. The transmission's right here underneath it. You could actually see this one a little clearer. This is the line right here that separates the motor from the transmission. So if you pan out, this is your engine oil then to go with the engine. This is your transmission dipstick for the transmission. Vehicle running, flat. We take the first reading for a condition. You're going to smell it. You're going to actually check the color. It looks nice and clean. Really no black spots. I already have that one spot from checking the last car. So I'm happy with this fluid. Now let's just check our level. And like I say, you should always check a tranny fluid when it's hot. But some cars does give you a cold reading. And if you look up here, this one gives you a hot. So it's telling you to fill it up hot, and it's right in the hash mark right there. Perfect. Only thing left on this is to take it for a drive to make sure it shifts right. Okay, there you go.